It's time for another segment of Best or Worst Thriller Books. If you're new here, this is how it works. Every other week, I put your suggestions of either the best or worst thriller or horror books you've ever read, with no opinions at all, just the name of the book and the author, into this bowl. I choose out two, I read them, and I let you know if I think they're the best or the worst. Every other week, we flip between thriller and horror, and this week is thrillers. Before I choose the first book, make sure you drop me a comment of either the best or worst thriller or horror book you've ever read, and again, no opinions at all, just the name of the book and the author. Okay, let's get started. This is always so nerve-wracking. I usually have like what I'm going to read planned out pretty far in advance, so I Don't Forgive You by Aggie, Blum, Thompson. I have read 2 books by this author. Really loved You Deserve to Know, and I did ultimately enjoy The Neighbors Are Watching as well, but not as much as You Deserve to Know. Let's see if I can get this on my Kindle. It's on Kindle Unlimited, which is a huge win, and it's 345 pages. I'm gonna dive right in. I Don't Forgive You by Aggie, Blum, Thompson follows a photographer named Allie who has moved to a new neighborhood with her family when she's assaulted at a party by a man she's never met. The next day, that same man is found dead, and all signs point to Allie being the suspect. It quickly becomes clear that she is being framed. I am halfway through and I am so stressed out. There are so many different red herrings and things going on that I truly can't form a solid theory at this point, aside from the obvious theory that I think most people would agree on when reading this book. I'm curious to see if I'm able to latch onto something in the second half before it's revealed, but as of right now, I really don't know. We follow Allie throughout this story as she unpacks her past and tries to connect what happened back then to what's happening right now. As her world is ripped apart, she grows more desperate for the truth, and trusting anyone becomes nearly impossible. I finished I Don't Forgive You, and man, this just had me on the edge of my seat. I was stressed out for the entirety of this book. This was a heavy read with themes of exploitation, blackmail, manipulation, revenge, consent, mental health, and blind trust. This pulled me in so many different directions and honestly had me feeling a bit emotional too. I really appreciated the commentary on inappropriate relationships, what consent means and what it actually looks like, the commentary on living with regret, and self-forgiveness. This was a really well done story, albeit a little far-fetched, but I don't need my fiction stories to be based in reality. And considering how chaotic this story was from the beginning, I don't think the ending was that far off base in terms of matching the vibe with the rest of the story. There are definitely rich people in this book, which, you know, I don't like, but it's the Desperate Housewives kind of vibe instead of the other type that I actually hate, so didn't mind that at all. I'm gonna guess that whoever suggested this, that it's their favorite thriller book, but please let me know in the comments. This is definitely a very good thriller to me. I will say it's not my favorite, but I'm gonna rate it highly. I'm rating it 4.25 stars. Time to choose book 2. And it is The Locked Ward by Sarah Pekkanen. I believe this one is on Kindle Unlimited. Score, it is on Kindle Unlimited. It's 313 pages. I'm going to dive right in. The Locked Ward by Sarah Pekkanen is a dual POV story following Mandy and Georgia. Georgia is in maximum security for the unaliving of her sister Annabelle, and she's never met Mandy. Mandy learns of this very high-profile case and finds out that she and Georgia are not only biological sisters, but twins. She soon finds herself upending her own life to find the truth behind the crime. Halfway through, I feel like so far I have more questions than answers. I don't feel like there's a lot of details surrounding the actual crime yet. I also am a little bit confused with Mandy's motives. She just met this twin sister of hers that she didn't know existed, and she's just like so invested in helping her. I don't know. She's like basically a stranger. Maybe I'm reading into it too much, but I think that that's just a little bit too convenient. I'm not obsessed with this, but I'm invested enough and I'm curious to see where things are going to go, so I'm going to dive right back in. Throughout the story, we flip between Georgia's time in prison and Mandy's investigation as we try to determine Georgia's innocence and what other suspects and motives we should be considering, while also learning about the intricacies of the twins' separation and the secrets surrounding their upbringing. I finished The Locked Ward by Sarah Pekkanen, and I gotta say the second half kinda lost me. Yes, the wealthy family and their dynamics were pretty apparent in the first half, but they just really ramped up in the second half, and I just couldn't really get myself to care. I will say I did appreciate that like business dealings and like money motivated kind of stuff wasn't at the forefront of the story, so that was good. But still, the rich people behaving badly and just like all about their power and stuff, I just don't care. There's themes of power, control, manipulation, nature versus nurture, and a lot of dysfunctional family dynamics. I think it was by like 60-ish%, I basically had the entire ending figured out. But honestly, that's fine because I did like the direction that it took, so it will get its flowers for that. This book does also do a classic thing that I think is totally unnecessary, didn't add anything to the story, and it's when a character is withholding something and then they reveal it. I don't know if it's used for shock factor or what, but it didn't do anything for me. I also do have to add that I don't like second person perspective. I think that almost all the time it can be just third person and have the same effect. So reading Georgia's chapters kind of took me out of the story a little bit because I just really don't like that perspective. Overall, I thought that this was solid, yet entirely unsurprising and mostly not my vibe. I could go 50-50 on whether or not I think that this is someone's favorite or least favorite, but I'm gonna go with least favorite, but let me know in the comments if you were the one that suggested this. For me, it's not the best, not at all, but absolutely not the worst either. I'd probably rate it like 3.25 stars. Thank you so much for watching. I would love to keep this series going. Even if you've suggested books in the past, please don't stop yourself from suggesting more. I want you to drop me a comment of either the best or worst thriller or horror book you've ever read with no opinions at all, just the name of the book and the author, and we'll just keep it going.